everyone, thanks for joining us. So in today's session, we are going to talk about efficacy testings and animal alternatives for cosmetics in China. And before we begin today's session, let me briefly introduce our company. ZMUni Compliance Center is a dedicated compliance service provider specializing in cosmetics, food, and related ingredients. Based in China and serving clients around the world, we offer one-stop market entry solutions, including compliance, consultings, product registration, inspections and testing, import and export customs clearance. We also regularly share regulatory updates, compliance guidance, and industry insights on our website and LinkedIn, so be sure to follow us to stay up to date. Okay, we are pleased to have Fei as our speaker today. Fei has extensive experience in Chinese cosmetics compliance with strong command of China's cosmetics regulation and technical guidance. She has supported numerous overseas brands entering the Chinese market, helping them navigate regulatory requirements and maintain full compliance. With that, I'll handle it over to her to begin today's topic.
Hello, everyone. I'm really glad to share the requirement of Chinese regulation on animal testing and efficacy testing for cosmetic with you. I hope this help answer any question you may have. I know many international brands are really concerned about exception from animal testing. Before we dive into today's talk, I want to share some good news. On November 17th, the NMPA released the final version of their opinions on depending cosmetic regulatory reform and promoting high-quality development of the industry. This includes updates on animal testing and efficacy testing. I will cover the details later in the presentation. Today, my presentation has 4 parts. First, I will provide an overview of testing in China. CSAR is the top cosmetic regulation in China. I have listed the regulatory related to the testing here. According to the Chinese regulation, cosmetic testing requirements include safety and efficacy testing, with different requirements for different products. For physical and chemical testing and the 3 tests, the stability test, the packaging compatibility test, and persuasive challenging test, are mandatory for all products. However, physical and chemical testing must be conducted in China, whereas the 3 tests do not carry these requirements. Product may submit the 3 testing report conducted at the manufacturer. Here are the requirements for safety testing agency. First, testing agency must obtain CMA certification in China, and their qualification score must meet the registration or notification testing requirement for the product. For the registration or notification testing item of the same product, they should generally be independently complete by the same testing agency. If the testing involves human safety and efficacy elevation, or if the CMA qualification scope of the agency does not include aspects, company may choose another agency that had already got the CMA certification. Cosmetic companies shall provide all the samples required for product testing to the first testing agency in a single submission. Submit samples shall be commercially available samples from the same batch with complete and unopened packaging. There are some special rules for safety testing. If a product contains multiple independently packaged formulations, for microbiological and physical chemical tests, they should be conducted for each formula. For example, for one product with 2 formulas filled in separate bottles, testing should be done independently for microbiological and physical chemical items. But for the toxicological testing, the animal testing, the procedures generally follow the instruction provided. However, if each formula can be used separately, they must also be tested independently. For example, if a four-color eyeshadow product, if the instructions say that the four color can be mixed or used individually, a toxicological test should be done for the mixed formulation, along with separate tests for each color. There are more details regarding the relevant testing requirements, and we can provide you with a professional assessment. I list the summary for microbiological and physicochemical testing items for cosmetics in China here for your reference. Here is the summary of toxicological testing items, the animal testing for general cosmetic. And this page is the summary of animal testing requirement for special cosmetic. Toothpaste is regularly like general cosmetic. We have summarized the testing requirement for toothpaste on this page. In the second part, we will discuss the animal testing requirements. This includes two parts: product requirements and safety assessment requirement for ingredients. The exception requirement for cosmetic animal testing can be summarized in 3 points. 1. Only general cosmetic can be exempt from animal testing. And for the special cosmetic, they cannot be exempt from animal testing in any situation. 2. The GMP of manufacturer should be issued by the government regulatory authority. And 3. Please don't forget that animal testing cannot be waived in the following situation. 1. The cosmetic used by the baby and or the children. 2. Products use new cosmetic ingredients that are still under safety monitoring. 3. The relevant companies are listed as key regulatory targets. Among them, we also need to pay attention to the deodorant products and hair removal products currently cannot be exempt from animal testing, according to Chinese cosmetic testing regulation. The requirements for toothpaste exception from animal testing are similar to those for cosmetic. The GMP of the manufacturer also need to issue by the government, and the animal testing also cannot be waived for the products used by the baby and the children, and product use the new cosmetic ingredients that are still under the safety monitoring. However, please note that cosmetic claiming only have cleansing effect can be exempt from animal testing. Another scenario requiring animal testing is primarily for the purpose of completing safety assessment of ingredients. First, we check whether any of 7 types of evidence can prove that the ingredient's quantity is safe. If none of these are applicable, we consider whether safety testing of cosmetic final products, TTC, or read across can be used to assess the ingredient's safety. Finally, we apply a 4-step risk identification process to evaluate whether the ingredient's concentration falls within a safe range. This assessment may require the toxicological data of the ingredient, which may lead to animal testing. According to current review requirements, for ingredients in the IECIC, only toxicological data tests 1 to 7 are typically required for evaluation. If an ingredient lacks the data on the skin photo sensitization, acute toxicity, and repeat dose toxicity, animal testing cannot be avoided. As we mentioned at the start, the lattice policy will introduce many favorable regulations. For example, in future, we will be able to waive the requirement for animal testing for products such as plumbing products, non-oxidized or stating hair dyes products and cosmetic containing new cosmetic ingredient during the monitoring period. The following part will look at the Chinese regulation requirement regarding efficacy testing. According to Chinese regulations, a total of 26 efficacy claims are allowed for cosmetic, with an additional X for new efficacy claims. The special efficacy includes these related to new efficacy, hair dyeing, hair perming, anti-spot and whitening, sunscreen, anti-hair loss. All other claims are classified as general efficacies. For children's cosmetics especially, it's important to note that the regulatory registration or efficacy claims, for example, the efficacy repair can be used for the children who is older than 3 years, but not for the babies under the 3 years old. Regarding the toothpaste, the NMPA released a draft on the classification list last week. In this draft, the number of allowed efficacy claims for toothpaste has been expanded from 5 to 8. For further details, please refer to the information published on our official website and LinkedIn. Do all 26 efficacy claims require testing? Not necessary. This slide outlines two scenarios in which testing can be waived. Claims that can be recognized through sign or smells, such as cleansing or fragrance, they can accept from the efficacy testing. And also the claims whether the product's efficacy is achieved through physical means, such as physical exfoliating or physical whitening. So, does all efficacy testing had to be conducted in China? Not required. Only the special efficacy testing for the whitening, sunscreen, anti-hair loss, they need to be tested in China. And for the other general efficacy claims, for example, like the anti-wrinkle, firming, soothing, moisturizing, they can provide the report from the original country or just conduct the test in China. For testing agency conducting the efficacy testing, only 3 special efficacy claims require the agency to obtain CMA certification in China. For all other efficacy claims, testing agencies are only required to establish good laboratory practice. There are also some special rules for efficacy testing. For multiple color sunscreen cosmetic, the sunscreen efficacy testing can be sampled at a rate of 20%. For example, if 3 colors of sunscreen products from the same brand have the same base formula, only different coloring times and concentration, only the product with the lowest coloring concentration need to undergo the sunscreen efficacy testing. The report from this product can also prove the efficacy of the other 2 products. For multiple color makeup products, they are general efficacy tests, except the anti-age, the moisturizing, and repair can also be sampled at a rate of 20%. For example, if 6 colors of lipstick from the same notification person that need to prove the moisturizing efficacy, and their base formula and series name are the same, but only differ in coloring time or concentration. Priorities testing the 2 colors with the lowest colorant concentration for their moisturizing effect. The report from this testing can be served as proof of moisturizing efficacy for all 6 colors. According to the opinions, company will receive more support when applying for new efficacy claims, and they will be encouraged to develop products for the silver economy. Will anti-aging also be permitted as a new efficacy claim? We can explore this matter together. Finally, let's briefly discuss the testing of risk substance. According to Chinese regulation and considering the risk assessment conclusion from the authoritative institution, the company should identify and evaluate potential risk substance in cosmetic, including but not limited to the six situations. We have listed the keywords for 6 different scenarios, such as the risk substance that need to be identified or the components that require attention. There are generally 2 ways of controlling risk substance. You can either require suppliers to provide quality specifications for ingredients that reflect their control over risk substance, or you can test for risk substance directly during the registration or notification. In 2025, the regulatory authority in China released updates testing regulations. China's supervision of banned substance and risk materials aligns closely with international standards, including those set by the EU. Since we are short on time, we won't dive into every detail, but if you want to know more, you can check out our website and follow us on LinkedIn for updates. Here, I want to share some questions for you. Question 1. What are the common challenges in the product entry to China? Based on our experience, cosmetic entering China typically encounter the following situations. 1. Does the formulation comply with Chinese regulation? For example, are the ingredients permitted for use? Are they listed in the IECIC or classified as new cosmetic ingredient requiring additional registration or notification? Is there sufficient evidence to prove the ingredients are within safe limits, or is additional animal testing required? 2. Does the product label comply with Chinese regulation, or is it necessary to design compliant labels, especially for the Chinese market? 3. Does the brand owner have a qualified quality and safety manager meeting the requirements? For example, at least 5 years of relevant quality and safety management experience. 4. Regarding the selection of Chinese responsible person, is the potential for replacement in the future? If so, to avoid the need for cancellation and re-notification of general cosmetic due to a Chinese RP change, where should the RP be registered? Can the manufacturer provide a GMP certificate issued by the government, cosmetic regulatory authority, to meet the requirement for animal testing exception? For special cosmetic and children's products, animal testing exceptions are currently not available. Should the company consider cross-border sales first or give up entering the Chinese market for the moment? Question 2. Is there an accepted methodology by China for the blue light protection claim? Blue light protection generally refers to reducing the damage blue light causes to the eyes and improving sleep quality. According to the Chinese regulation, blue light protection is not recognized as a cosmetic efficacy. Please note that according to CSAR, cosmetics are defined as daily chemical products applied to the skin, hair, nails, lips, and other human surfaces through the rubbing, spraying, or similar methods for cleansing, protecting, butterflying, or decorating. So, can cosmetic claim to have blue light protection? The issue isn't whether the methodology is accepted, but whether the company has done enough research on how blue light protection works and can prove that it aligns with China's definition of cosmetic for new efficacy claims.
Okay, so thank you, Fei. And here is how we support cosmetics entering China from product registration and notification to formula reviews and safety efficacy assessment. We help brands navigate the regulatory landscape with confidence. We also offer guidance on labeling, marketing, and other requirements. So everything you need to bring your products to the Chinese market smoothly and efficiently. In addition to the finished products services in China, we also support cosmetic ingredients and global cosmetics compliance. For ingredients, we assist with new ingredient registration in China, inky name applications, cast number assignments, and more. On the global side, our compliance services cover key markets including ASEAN countries, EU countries, US, Japan, and other major markets. Okay, I think that's all for today, and thank you so much for attending. I hope the insights Faye shared will be valuable for your work and help you navigate the Chinese market smoothly. And if you have any questions or would like to discuss further, feel free to reach out to Faye before. And before you go, we'd really appreciate if you could take a moment to complete our webinar survey. Your feedback helps us improve future sessions.